So this one is looking at animating movement, in this case the classic walk cycle using a bit of frame-by-frame animation. This is sort of what I've been building up to for the last bunch of tutorials to sort of have the skill set to do this. So you can see here standard sort of walk cycle, and it can be broken down into a number of distinct stages, and this is important to be aware of, which is why I'm going with this presentation. So Preston Blair, artist in the animator, I don't know, 40s, set all this stuff down. A whole bunch of other people have been doing it all as well, but he has got this wonderful little book that looks at animating movement. And so here you can see a whole bunch of different styles of walk that the character can move through, and it expresses a lot about the character. You know, the difference between a standard walk at the top and a double bounce walk here at the bottom, where the double bounce walk has a bit more energy to it. The strut versus the shuffle, you know, strut where you're proud and, you know, exuberant versus a fairly depressed kind of shuffle. The sneaking or the tiptoeing, trying to be really, really quiet. We're hunting wabbits kind of stuff. So yeah, here, fairly standard walk cycle. Here there's, you know, running. Oh, sorry, that previous one was running. This one, running again, but different speeds of running, how much you throw yourself forward, how you angle your body. This is a fairly little casual jog. Then jumping and skipping and splashing and, you know, having fun. So a bit of a jump. A really simple jump. Something getting kind of fancy. And so you can see it there. The walk cycle can be broken down into 4 distinct stages, going through once for each leg, so 8 in total. Starting with the point of contact where your foot, the heel of your foot, first touches the ground. Then as you shift weight onto it, you start to recoil, ready to spring back up, and so then one foot passes the other, and you have a high point as you bring that back leg's knee up to then make it the point of contact for the next step, and you go through recoil, passing, high point, and contact again for the other leg this time. And so that gives you kind of the template to work with, and I'll make sure that this idle worm template is available to you, so you can trace over and copy, or if you want, give it a go and work on your drawing skills to do it yourself. So this can also be extended into creature walks, as you can see here. Notice how the front, the legs on one side of the body and the other almost come into contact. So the motion is mirrored on each half of the body. Your challenge is to create a stick person and get it animated for 2 walk cycles. Must have realistic proportions and naturalistic movement. All right. The book's Preston Blair, advanced animation. There's a copy in the library, but there's also stuff available online if you want to go looking. And there's also, if you want a wealth of information, there's also animation resources. Anyhow, let's move on with the next part. All right, so at this point, I'm going to break down this animation I found online. I have no idea whose it is. It's just in some of the resources I've collected over the years, but thank you for the person who created it. It's extremely useful. So the first is, this one doesn't move, but this one does. I have no idea what's going on here. Well, actually I do, because this first half is a motion tween, while the second half is, sorry, that one is a symbol that has motion. What do they call them? Oh yeah, movie clip. While the other one is just a standard graphic. If we actually test this movie by holding down Control and pressing Enter, or alternatively, you can go up to the controls here and go, oh, test movie. It produces it, and they're all walking. So, you know, half that clip wasn't walking, but the other half was. So, yeah, anyhow, let's have a breakdown of what this person does in their animation. It doesn't matter which one we go through. You can see here, that's that build up for that character. If you want to jump across to the other one, hopefully this is right. Yes, there's this one as well. So they've done the same technique to animate it in the background. They've just saved it as 2 different types. And as I mentioned in a previous tutorial, make sure you get the type right. And of course, if you don't, you can always change it with right-clicking properties. Like that. Anyhow, let's have a look at this movie clip. So here, the first most important part is probably to get the body right. So in this case, it's the body and the head, and it's just a simple bob up and down. You can see that there. And this is why it's broken into multiple layers, because it makes it easier to do. Now, the orange ones down the bottom here are just simple shape tweens, while the green ones are motion tweens. So let's have a look at these bottom two legs. In fact, let's just deal with one leg. So here you can see it's just a shape tween to go from that shape to that, to that, so on and so forth through a cycle. Now, looking at the timeline here, I noticed that they've done a trick, and we'll get to that in just a second. Now, you can either do that in a nice sort of shape tween kind of way here, or alternatively, you can use a motion tween, or you can draw it frame by frame. The choice is really up to you, because this is sort of under the hood and looking at the walk cycle itself. So here you can see there's a definite motion of contact. Then there's the recoil. He comes down, passing to high point, and then contact, right? And I would guess that this person's only animated one of the two legs, duplicated that layer, and then grabbed the first half of the block of frames and moved them to the end, and then got rid of this space at the start. That way, they alternate, and then probably gone back and tweaked the color of the back leg, that one, so that's just a little darker to sort of give it the illusion of depth. Then we look at the shadow. The shadow is, again, just a shape tween, small, large, to give the impression, to help add depth to the character, a bit more of appeal and interest, let's say. And the motion tweens on the arms are actually kind of simple, really. We'll get rid of the other stuff so we can focus on the arms. And they're just swinging back and forth. That's it. There's not that much to them. This person's actually, because it's in green, I know it's going to be poses. And they've actually cheated and used bone, well, not cheated, but made use of some advanced stuff that we haven't done yet, to really break down the twist in the arm. So at one point, just the elbow bends a little bit to bring the hand forward, and then comes back, straightens up, and doomph. All right, and then so this layer is identical to this one, but it's just offset by time. And you notice there's a little join here in the center where they would have, and I'll do this when I actually go through it myself, basically create that effect. So that's all I wanted to grab from this one. Let's move on to the next stage.